I'm Reed, and this is Man Cave Guitar Pedal Mania. Before I get started, I'd like to thank the subscribers that have been slowly joining the channel for the last 2 months. I appreciate each and every one of you, and I hope that you're enjoying the videos. For my first video of the new year and or decade of the 2020s, I wanted to address a topic that's generated a lot of discussion ever since electric guitars have been around. Does the wood used in a guitar's construction make a difference in how it sounds? Now, there are a lot of videos on this topic. Some of them have found that the wood makes little to no difference. Some of them have found that the wood makes a huge difference. Now, how can people look at the exact same question using the exact same guitars and come out with radically different answers? What's the truth? So, here's the truth. There is no truth. I know that's really unsatisfying, but bear with me for a minute. There is no objective reality that we're finding here. There's no frequency change between the guitar woods that you're going to hear. The real question is, what do you think makes a difference? Because reality is perception. If you think your wood makes a huge difference, then it does. To me, the wood does make a difference, but it doesn't matter. So what do I mean by that? Take a minute and think about everything that makes up an electric guitar. Sure, you have the wooden parts, the body, the neck, and the fretboard. Then you have the construction. Is it a bolt-on? Is it a set neck? Or is it a neck through? How about the scale length? Is it 24 3/4, 25 1/2, 26, 27? Is it a fan fret or a regular fret? Now think about all of the non-wood parts. The tuning pegs. Do you have a string tree or not? The nut, the truss rod, the strings, the bridge. Is it a fixed bridge? Is it a vibrato system? What type of vibrato system? What type of material are your saddles made out of? How about your pickups? Single coil? P90s? Humbuckers? How about your wiring? What type of wiring are you using? What are your volume and tone pots? Do you even have a tone pot? What capacitor is on your tone pot? Is your control cavity shielded? What type of output jack do you have? And then, since it's an electric guitar, you're probably not playing it acoustically. So you've got a cable or a wireless system, and you're going into your amplifier, or maybe your amp modeler, or just straight into your computer. Maybe you're going direct, maybe you're using a big pedal board. Your pedals, most of them have tone controls. Your amplifier has tone controls. With all of that going on, do you really think that your tone wood makes a difference? To me, it doesn't. Now, it makes a big difference in the way the guitar looks, and the wood can make a big difference in the way it feels, but in the way it sounds? Here's the thing. If you think your guitar is too bright, turn up your tone controls. Or get a brighter pickup. Get a darker pickup. If you think that your guitar is too dark, get a brighter pickup. The wood it's just a factor, and not the biggest factor in there. So it doesn't matter to me. Now, if you think that your wood makes a huge difference in the sound, you are welcome to that opinion, and more power to you. I'm not the tone wood police. It's all about what inspires you, what makes you enjoy your guitar. If you refuse to play an alder body guitar and will only play mahogany, man, good luck with that. In addition to playing electric guitar and collecting guitar pedals, I also build guitars. I built my first guitar in 2011 or 2012. I don't really remember anymore. I was at the Dallas Guitar Show, and I met a man named Brian Paul. Brian's a luthier in the DFW area, and he was giving classes on building electric guitars. I thought that sounded great, so I signed up and built a guitar. I had so much fun that I signed up and built a second guitar. I learned a lot. One of the things that I learned is that to build a guitar from scratch takes a lot of specialty tools. So, most of the guitars that I've built since then have been what are commonly called parts casters, because you buy all of the individual parts to make up a bolt-on style guitar like a Stratocaster or Telecaster and then make it yourself. I've also built kit guitars, which are generally another form of parts caster. I've built more than a dozen guitars now and sold several of them on eBay. I don't claim to be a professional, but I do have some experience. I choose wood for 3 particular reasons. The first is aesthetics. The second is availability. And the third is price. There is no bad wood. You know, Fender used to make guitars out of pine. Jackson used to make really expensive custom shop guitars out of poplar. Poplar is not a popular wood, ironically. Not because it doesn't sound good, but because it doesn't look great. But if you're using a solid paint finish, the wood grain doesn't really matter. Except that you want a closed grain wood because that gives you a better paint job. That's a different subject. Sorry, going off on a little bit of a tangent there. Let's get back on track. You can buy a really great guitar now, like my Squier Jazzmaster, for $400. And you can easily spend more than that on a parts caster. Some people swear by even cheaper guitars. I've seen 150 guitars on Amazon that are getting 5-star reviews. So why would you want to build your own guitar? Well, I'll give you several reasons. One, it's fun. Just in and of itself, the act of creating something is great. It's like cooking or building furniture or writing a song. It's the doing of it that gives you the enjoyment. And when you're done, in this case, you have a guitar. How cool is that? Number 2, you can get exactly what you want. Exactly the color. Exactly the pickups that you want. Exactly the woods and materials and shape. It would cost you a lot of money to go to a custom shop and spec out exactly what you want. But you can build a really, really good parts caster for less than $1,000. Go to any custom shop online and see what you can buy for $1,000. It's not a lot. And number 3, it is a great learning experience. Now, maybe you don't want to know what makes your guitar tick. I get it. Just because you like cars doesn't mean you want to become a mechanic, and I understand that, believe me. But if you're going to play guitar, it really, really does help to know some basic things like how to change your strings, how to clean a scratchy pot, how to level your frets or deal with fret buzz or fret sprout if you've got a fretboard that shrinks. All of these things just make the guitar playing experience better. Now, there are a couple of negatives to building your own guitar. One, they have no resale value. I used to see people putting parts guitars on eBay all the time, trying to get the money that they put into it out of it. People, it doesn't work that way. Whatever you build is worth it to you. Anybody else, they're basically going to be paying you for the parts. So expect to get a lot less money than you put into it. That's not the point. I don't build stuff for resale value, even though I've sold guitars. I sold every one of them at a loss just because I am running out of space to store guitars. And the second reason you might not want to build one is because finishing a guitar can take specialty tools, especially if you need to do things like fret leveling and fret crowning. Those really require specialty tools that you may not have. Now, you can get them pretty cheap on Amazon and on other places. You can go to StewMac and get, really great quality stuff, although it's quite pricey. But you probably don't have those types of tools just sitting around your house. And I understand that can be a little discouraging. But just using common tools, you can build a parts guitar that is 90% of the way there. And if it needs a little TLC on the neck, you can take it to your local luthier and spend an extra, $50 and have them level your fret. And I have no idea what your luthier is going to charge you to do a fret level these days. I haven't needed to do that in a long time. And that's kind of the point. This year, I'm going to build at least 2 guitars. I'm going to make a parts caster with parts almost entirely sourced from guitarfetish.com. And I'm going to build a kit guitar that I bought from Solo Guitars. I'm going to do video series for both of them, and I hope that you will watch them and learn something. And if you have tips for me, again, I'm not a professional. I'm just the guy who likes building guitars. So if you see something that I'm doing wrong, feel free to comment. Now, before we do that, I'm going to get out the 2 guitars I built at Brian's school, and I'm going to play through some sound samples on them. The guitars are made from the same woods. They are mahogany body, maple cap, maple neck, and rosewood fretboard. They have the same tuners, the same bridge, but very, very different pickups. One guitar has a $38 Guitar Fetish vintage extra hot humbucker. The other guitar has a $190 Wagner Pickups icebucker. Wagner Pickups? I don't really know. I'll tell you which one is which at the end of the video. So I'm going to start off playing each guitar completely clean and then slowly add gain and finish off with quite a bit of gain and reverb. And we'll come back at the end and see what I think of those 2 sounds compared. I'm back. Here's guitar 1. You can see a single cut Les Paul Jr. style with 1 humbucker, a Godot, I believe 820 bridge, and Grover Imperial tuners. Now see, you couldn't just walk into a store and say, hey, I'll take your green quilt top Les Paul Jr. So I built exactly what I wanted to build, and I think it is stunning. Here's my second guitar, a Flying V, one of the only carved top Flying Vs I have ever seen. So that makes it doubly unique. I love this guitar. So it is again the same woods. It's still mahogany back, maple cap, maple neck, rosewood fretboard. Uses the same bridge, the same tuners, but it has different pickups. So let's hear what it sounds like. This is completely clean. So, here is the clean. And here it is adding some overdrive from my Walrus Audio Voyager. With a little overdrive from my Walrus Audio Voyager. Now I'm adding more overdrive. I've turned off the Voyager and added my Dan Electro, the Breakdown. Turn off the Voyager, add the Breakdown. And finally, I'm going to kick in the Walrus Audio Voyager on top of the Breakdown and add some delay from my Boss DD500. add the Voyager into the breakdown and add my DD500 for some delay. I love those trails. So there you have it. Two guitars that are identical in woods, construction, and hardware, but have different pickups. Not surprisingly, they sound different, although those differences get less as you add more effect. So what have we learned here today? Honestly, I don't know that we've learned anything. Again, it's all about what you like. It's about what inspires you to keep playing. By the way, it's the green guitar that has the guitar fetish pickup. 1/5 the price of that Wagner Icebucker. And I think the Icebucker sounds great. Is it 5 times better? I don't really know. Just bear in mind, pickups are not made of magic. They're made out of wire and magnets and bobbins. And just because something is made in the United States doesn't inherently make it better. If you give a guitar factory in Indonesia the exact same wire magnets and bobbins, they can make a pickup that sounds pretty good. A lot of the cheap Asian pickups are just made with inferior materials, and they know it. That's why they can sell it for $10. But if you get a good product, you can get a really good pickup for a low price. And I love those guitar fetish pickups. So I hope that you found this entertaining, if not overly informative. And I hope that you'll follow me on my guitar build videos to follow. I've been Reed, and this has been Man Cave Guitar Pedal Mania.